All he's done in these movies so far is fuck women.
Fucked women. He's
drink
partied.
martinis.
Yes, he's not done shit. I don't think James Bond has ever been to a goddamn grocery store. It's not
very easily distracted drunk pussy hound.
Sean Connery has been drinking and smoking and partying for so fucking long. James Bond is not a good man. What up?
Yes, I'm hungry. Thunderball, James Bond.
Insatiably hungry.
Harley, you had insatiable hiccups. You got rid of them.
I just got, literally,
You're
no
doing
more
well.
than a minute and a half ago, I was able to exterminate the hiccups.
Tame them.
They are officially tamed. I really hope they don't do one of those. I have those ghost hiccups here in a minute where
The
like,
hiccup relapse.
yeah, the relapse where I thought they were gone, but they're, because I can kind of still feel my stomach wants to like, it really wants to cup, but it's not letting it hick. You know what I mean? So it's like a cup going on, but no hick.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's where I am bodily. As far as anatomically, I'm in a piece. One piece, not sure. In a piece though. A piece.
So, you fucking hated this.
I didn't like this movie. I did not like this movie.
Go ahead. 1 minute, fucking trash it.
In 1 minute, you want me to trash this movie?
Yes. Trash it for 60 seconds. Go.
The worst part of any... Let me say it like this. The worst part of any video game is the water level. This movie is literally the water level of James Bond films. It's just boring and... boring. It was really boring. Like, I almost fell asleep 4 different times. And I don't really have that much of an in-depth thought process as to why I didn't like it, besides it was all underwater and boring. I'm sure there's a lot more that goes into that, but hot take, right after walking out of that movie, it was dog shit.
Dog shit. Alright.
What'd you think?
I thought it had... I don't know, I felt it was a little more thought out than... of the first 4 here.
Yeah, I'll definitely say that. It's definitely the most thought out.
Because, as they progress, they get better as they go, story-wise.
Well,
Dr. No thing, he goes to the island, and then they blow up the island. Nuclear explosion, no big deal. That's not going to cause fallout from anywhere.
No biggie.
No biggie.
No biggie.
From Russia with Love, it's the whole train thing, and he's dodging helicopters because he's awesome.
Right, it's just James Bond.
And then...
I was thinking that when I was watching it, that this movie was the most, maybe, cohesive out of all of them. Because it definitely was the most cohesive. It's like, you've got a bad guy. We've heard about Spectre. This is the fourth movie?
Fourth movie.
This is the 4th movie. Heard about Spectre before, and now they've got their lair. We've got Dr. Evil. We've got number 2. Like, we've got the bad guys.
Yeah.
And one thing that I did think which was really cool, I thought this was really cool, was that they didn't introduce Spectre and then send James Bond after, like, the leader of Spectre.
Right.
His first target was number 2.
Right.
And I thought that was kind of, maybe... that was just them just being like, oh, who should the bad guy be? Who gives a fuck? Name our number 2. Like,
sure.
But
you could see that meeting room is exactly what they based the whole like Dr. Evil Austin Powers thing.
Yeah, on. I don't think the writers of James Bond were that enlightened, but I do think that it was at least probably good for their longevity to have, like, okay, Thunderball, we're not going for the big guy. I don't know what happens next. I'm sure eventually they'll go after the big guy.
Sure. Well, in the next one, he only lives twice.
Is that the...
It's called You Only Live Twice.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So, do these films get a lot darker? I feel like they're fit to get a lot darker.
I wouldn't say darker. They all kind of have this happy spy undertone that all of these seem to have.
Yeah.
You know, despite... I feel like the only dark movies, per se, like the Daniel Craig movies had kind of that darkish vibe.
I remember them being dark.
More so.
At least to me when I was like 12. I remember them being, darkish.
Yeah. Those probably have the heaviest tone of all of them.
Like now, it's watching these James Bond movies. It's, we should probably write all this shit out as far as like what an actual James Bond, hit list is. All the big,
yes,
pretty much no-nos. I wouldn't even call them no-nos, but just the cliches that happen in James Bond films. But I mean, they've settled into it. Sean Connery has settled into this role. He is very confident. He knows exactly what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's predictable. I feel like that's what kind of made it boring today. Was that like...
Well, they're all the same thing. No matter what they do in any of these movies.
Yeah, and you're right. They are all the fucking same. That's what I said when we watched Dr. No and we watched Gold, remember? Like, or Goldfinger. Is it Goldfinger. Goldfinger, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Like, at first it was like, okay, they're settling into this mold. And then it was just, at first you see the Mona Lisa and you're like, wow, that's beautiful. And then you see the Mona Lisa 350 goddamn times and you're like, yeah, they're still doing this?
Yeah.
I guess this was only, like, over the course of a 4-year span in the 60s.
Yeah.
It might be my 2022 ADD brain, like,
Yeah, this was...
65, wasn't it?
Yeah, December 9th, 1965 was the Tokyo premiere. It's Dr. No. It's $1.1 million budget, made $59.5 million. From Russia with Love, $2 million budget, made $79 million. So they're just printing money. Goldfinger, $3 million budget, $125 million.
Now let me guess.
You want to guess? Okay.
Like I said earlier, I think that their production value went up. What was From Russia with Love?
Well, Goldfinger was the most recent one.
Oh yeah, Goldfinger. Yeah, what was Goldfinger?
They spent the most on that at $3 million.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Thunderball at 8.4, and they made 74. 8.4 for 74.
Close on the budget. You can almost double the profit, the box office.
What? How is this one of their worst ones then? Or is that not what you said? Sorry, did you not say that? What did I think you just said?
I was just saying that they just print more money. They're just printing money with these movies.
No, sorry, I don't mean to get a whole hiccup here. What I was trying to say was, I thought that this movie would have performed poorly.
No.
I thought the budget would have went up and the movie would have performed poorly.
No, not at all.
So the opposite. The budget went up and the movie performed well.
Right.
Gotcha.
So you said 8.4 for the budget. It was $9 million.
Okay.
And it made 141.2 in the box office.
So it's the best one yet.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It really wasn't an unstoppable force, wasn't it? James Bond. It's like,
yeah.
And you don't listen. These guys weren't forward thinkers. These Hollywood jacks who were like, let's think up this story. I mean, maybe at most 30, 45 minutes, I could think up that whole entire movie.
Absolutely.
That's it. I mean, you give me you put a gun to my head and you tell me, listen,
we could write a Bond movie right now.
Oh, I could do it right now.
Let's just...
Guaranteed I could write a goddamn Bond movie.
We should have a podcast. We write a Bond movie.
It opens up. They're on a beach. And on the beach is just one blanket. And there's some somber bass tones. Boom, 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 boom. And out of the water comes, almost completely naked, Sean Connery. All he has on is a Speedo. And in some dunes near the picnic blanket.
Yeah.
And in the dune, there's a woman. Looks like she's looking for clams or something.
You're just copying Dr. No.
It's close to Dr. No, but it's just a little different, right? So she's a shell fisherman.
Yeah.
And he walks up and he says, "You look quite tasty." And she says, "Who are you?" And he goes, "Ah, well, I am here to eat you." And then he eats her, and that's pretty much that's pretty much James Bond in a nutshell.
That's it. Okay.
It needs a little work.
It took a zombie turn there quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it needs a little work. It might be, Walking Dead 2.0, but
No, we're gonna. Okay, that's what we should do a pod where we get on here and we go. Okay, we're gonna write a Bond movie, and then we go through like all the cliches. Well, we'll start listing the cliches.
Yeah, I think we should start doing that instead of quotes. Let's start doing the cliches because like there were a million in there. For example, the one that I'm thinking of most clearly is at the very end when the bad guy's about to shoot him, and just as he's about to shoot him, he goes ah, and he got stabbed in the back.
Yeah.
And it's my savior.
Yep.
One thing, James Bond did not have as much sexual intercourse as I thought he would have in this movie.
He's done quite a bit.
I mean, he had a good amount of sexual intercourse, but I'm saying the last couple movies, all he was doing was raw dogging these women from fucking. I mean, from A to Z, every single goddamn country he goes to.
Yeah.
He's shagging.
That's true.
This movie, he only had Domino.
Yeah.
Which, she's aight.
Well, no, and that girl, the evil girl.
Does that count, though?
He fucked her.
Did he, though?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see it.
That's where he said, What I did tonight was for king and country. Don't flatter yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
I took no pleasure in doing that.
I took no pleasure.
Like, oh yeah, is that so? I did pull up we were talking about how we couldn't remember our ratings.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do those at the end, but I do have them written down.
Okay, alright, cool.
So we'll go through those. Okay. I thought fight scenes improved. Minus the final scene on the boat, where it was definitely everything in slow motion, and then they just fast forwarded it probably like 1.5 times. Like we watched the underwater scenes where I just put it on 1.5, that last water scene, because it was like 10 minutes of just slow motion harpooning. And
I won't keep harping on the water thing. We'll talk about that more in depth later, maybe. No pun intended, but yeah, I mean the fight scenes did improve. You're right. Yeah, I mean
I really like the opening scene.
Yeah, we bust that old lady in the mouth, and it turns out to be a fucking spy.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Well, a Spectre guy.
Well, whatever, same shit. Spy, Spectre guy, whatever. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool scene. Every piece of furniture broke instantly, which was another maybe cliche for these action movies.
Sure.
But yeah, everything was fucking glass in that room apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just the value of like probably not backup actors. What's the
stuntman?
Yeah, stuntmen.
Sure.
I guess a stuntman or a stand-in probably improved. So like, listen, this is James Bond. We're gonna be beating people up.
They at least started spending money on it.
For fuck's sake, I mean,
going from $1 million on the first, $2 million on the second, $3 million on the third. It's like what Bond movie it is. And we can only spend that many million, and then they jump to $9 million on this.
I told you, I knew that.
It has to be all the underwater shit.
I told you, bro, because like they do so too much water, too much water. Like we don't live in water. We are fucking land-breathing mammals.
Yeah.
We empathize with like our environment. Maybe not empathize. That might not be the right word, but we recognize our environment. That's why water levels and water
relate.
Movies, yeah, we relate, pretty much. Yeah. I don't want to see some shit underwater unless it's Finding Nemo, because it's cartoon. It's cute. It's for kids.
Cute and shit.
I don't want to watch James Bond. I don't want to watch Finding Nemo in space.
Right.
James Bond, Goldfinger, man, come on, man. But
I thought the jetpack was pretty cool though. I wanted to see more jetpack. Bad green screen.
You wanted to see more jetpack?
Bad green screen.
I thought it was a bad jetpack. I don't know, what was that, aluminum foil on that thing?
Wasn't a great prop, no.
It was not a good prop.
But
I mean, this is 1965.
65.
Millions of dollars to spend, though. They have all kinds of money that they can spend.
If you think this is the fourth movie...
What's the,
Dr. No came out in 62, so you think they probably worked on that for a year. Maybe 2. And then, here we are in 65. So, if you say they start on Dr. No maybe in... I mean, shit, they have good turnaround. Maybe they shot Dr. No in 62. We're talking 4 movies in 3 years here.
Yeah. There's no way that...
They're pumping them. Pumping them out.
How do you think that goes down? You think they just call up Sean and Sean, I've got a question for you. And he's like, well, yes, make it quick. I'm on my yacht. Oh, well, yeah, Sean. We're thinking about doing another one of those James Bond movies. And James Bond, those stupid fucking movies. Well, listen, I'm a little busy this week. Well, what are you doing on Thursday? Well, what were you thinking? I was thinking we fucking film the whole James Bond movie. On Thursday? Yeah.
I was thinking we'd
Thursday.
print more money.
Yeah, I think we print more money.
I suppose.
I suppose if
into
it's
my
on
schedule.
Thursday. I do have lunch and brunch on Friday, including dinner and breakfast, and so I've got quite a busy schedule.
Not to mention all of these whores.
And snacks.
There's
Lots
many,
of snacks.
many whores.
Many whores and snacks, yes. Maybe some liquor, cigars, whores, food. That's my Friday, and yeah, it doesn't take long. I don't know, man. It probably took them like 2 months to make this movie. If I really had to, like, it took them way longer to edit it. I guarantee.
Sure.
Because it's all these scenes. A couple of these scenes are out of order. The scene where him and Domino are in the fucking reef together.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait for this. I was like, what is this?
It's the weirdest sex scene ever. All these bubbles just fly to the surface all of a sudden, and they're behind a reef, and you're like, why are the bubbles? Is that how big his cock is? Is that what they're trying to portray there?
Yeah, the bubbles. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's gasping for air.
Yeah, the oxygen mask. Yeah, I don't know. It was goofy. It's just one burst. Like
it's out of order because like
it's weird.
You already know that Albert Broccoli. What's the name? Is it Albert?
Broccoli, yeah.
Albert. Mr. Broccoli was probably like, all right, we're gonna shoot this scene, and you guys are gonna be banging, right? And earlier in the movie, that scene would have made sense when they were like setting up like.
Well, the thing, it's the payoff, right? Because he never gets to get her into bed.
Right. Exactly.
And so he's so desperate for it. He's got to get her behind the reef, and then tell her. And he, that's the way he kind of sugarcoats the news about her brother.
When they originally, I don't know. I gotta look at the script. I guess I don't know. I don't see that scene being like, okay, we're gonna have them have this sex scene, and then he's gonna drop the news about her brother.
Well, because then he wants her help, and she goes, "That's why you made love to me."
Right. I mean, I think that scene should have been earlier in the movie. I'm not saying it should have never been in the movie. I'm saying it should have been.
I think it fit. Was all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Well,
that's fine.
It was fine. It was fine. We got to see some boobies, and I'm happy.
You never saw her movies, to be specific. But in the opening song, we did see
a boob, at least.
Yeah, very, very,
very quick.
Very quick, blurry nipple, faceless woman.
If you had to guess, A to D, what are we thinking here? Size.
Oh, it was obviously like an underwater. Supposed to be like an underwater thing. What would you're a boob expert? What do you got?
I'm no expert, but I might be experienced with breasts, but. I'm going C. I'm going to C on those. Yeah, that was a healthy C.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. We'll put that on the blog.
Healthy's on the blog.
On the blog.
We need to start a blog apparently.
Healthy B or healthy C.
So yeah, like we said, you see the room that basically Austin Powers bases the whole Dr. Evil thing off of.
Yeah. And the cat.
And the cat, obviously the cat. Number 2 with the eye patch, all that.
Yeah.
And, the head of Spectre says, Spectre relies on the absolute integrity of its members. Which I thought was very hilarious coming from that man. Just a quick refresher on what Spectre stands for. Special Executive for Counterintelligence, Terrorism, Revenge, and Extortion. But they are an upstanding... organization on integrity.
And the one dude, they're about to nuke Miami, and then the one guy being a little mean to a chick who's trying to foil their plan, he's like, I don't see that happening. And he's like, we gotta get you out of here. I didn't know he was like that.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, okay.
I thought Bond was his peak creepy in this movie.
No, peak creepy. Yeah, very peak creepy. What was the quote from the very beginning like? Where he's like, later. Or I don't. What the fuck did he say, man?
Well, so he has this whole situation after he has that opening scene. He's somewhere for his back. After all that.
Oh yeah, he's at like a spa.
Yeah, spa. Yeah, and they're like being rehabilitated and shit like that. And there's this nurse lady, and they're looking at his X-ray, and he just forces himself on her and starts making out with her, and it's very obvious she's not into it. Still keeping the rapey vibes from the Goldfinger thing with Pussy Galore, and she's like, and then she finally breaks away from him, and she goes, "Mr. Bond, behave yourself." She takes him and she puts him on the spine stretcher machine, which I don't know if it's a thing.
It sounds like a 1960s contraption. A spine stretcher.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, man. You gotta go look at the.
Let's try this out here really quick here.
With the spine stretcher.
Spine stretcher. Thunderball. Real? Question mark. Got something from the Daily Mail.
.uk?
Yeah. .co.uk. For long-suffering patients with back pain or a slip disc, therapy used to involve extended periods in traction, the use of weights, ropes, and pulleys to help coax the spine back into shape. Some fucking pop-up. A traditional treatment that fell out of favor in the early 90s after a series of clinical trials found that it failed to produce consistent results and often didn't work at all. So...
Yeah. I mean...
And there's more to it that says something about it's been brought back more high-tech. Procedure is known as intervertebral differential dynamics, or IDD, and is a mechanical treatment which, like traction, gently draws apart areas of the spine affected by damaged or slipped discs. Yada yada, we're not going to read the whole article.
Yada yada.
But at least they didn't make it up like skin suffocation in Goldfinger.
Yeah, the skin suffocation, that was definitely a stretch, huh?
A little bit. Stretch.
Hey!
There it is. So he gets caught there. Some guy walks in there, cranks it all the way up. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Hey, get back here! Help!" It's very funny to see him in distress.
Yeah, it's a little heartwarming because he's put so many women in distress over these last 4 movies, and to see it coming back full force, priceless.
So she walks back in. And she goes, "It's lucky I walked in. You could be dead. Who knows what would have happened?" Tells him to get in the spa. And then she goes, "You wouldn't tell my boss, would you?" He goes, "I suppose I could keep quiet for a price." She says, "You don't mean..." "Oh, yes. Oh, no. Oh, yes."
Oh,
and then they
man.
go in the steam room. And she's taking off her clothes. And then this woman who's utterly repulsed by him when she first meets him, can't stand the touch of him or anything. By the end of this movie, he's leaving the resort, and she's following him out to the car. "James, where are you? What do you do for a living? Where are you going?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Another time, another place."
He's got a mink glove on.
The mink glove was ridiculous.
And he's rubbing her back like, "Yes, it's mink." It's such a fucking piece of shit. You're such mink. Oh shit! It's so bad, dude. This one was awful.
This was.
This is getting.
It's getting ridiculous.
It's getting out of hand.
It's getting a little ridiculous. It is. I'm wondering when they start improving, because like I said, I've watched them all, but it's been a long time, and so I'm almost watching them for the first time in a way.
Right.
As an adult, when I watch all of them.
Like, this movie wouldn't have been... the story was good, but the set pieces were just... Every single set piece was exactly the same. It's like you're either on a beach or in the Bahamas. You're either on a beach in the Bahamas or you're underwater in the Bahamas. That's it. Or you're in a secret fucking spy lair.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the set pieces of this movie.
Yeah. As far as the Bond cliches go, key characters in any plot. We have Felix Leiter as a recurring character. He's, just somebody from another
Real quick,
government.
who is Felix? Real quick for our listeners. Go ahead.
He's always a CIA guy.
Just describe Felix
from the American CIA. Just always kind of like, I would say, he's supposed to be the less cool American version of Bond.
Tyler, what did Felix do this entire movie?
He flew Bond around in a helicopter for the most part. There's a little part at the beginning where he is kind of monitoring Bond, where you see him, he kind of follows the villains around for the first maybe 20 minutes. You just see him in the background, and we're not introduced like, oh, hey, that's Felix Leiter. They're almost kind of going like, you don't know who this is. And so it's kind of throwing almost a red herring out there, like, oh, this guy might be bad. And then he knocks on Bond's hotel room when he knows he has an intruder hiding in his shower.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, hello, 00. And then Bond punches him in the stomach. And you go, well, what's going on with that?
Yeah, I didn't
so you don't really know who this guy is, but then he brings him in the room and says, he doesn't say anything to him. He just walks away from him. And Felix is standing there holding his stomach.
That's what my first initial reaction was like, you're just going to punch that guy in the stomach and walk away? Because it looks like he did that.
It looks like he's some kind of villain.
I thought he just knocked out with the stomach. One stomach punch to the,
Yeah.
One hit to the stomach and he's passed out. But I guess that wasn't the case, though.
Right. And then, so he turns on the hot water in his shower, which apparently this resort is top notch because the water's hot.
Instantly.
As soon as he turns it on.
Boiling hot.
Because then the guy in there is like, ah!
Excruciating pain. That's got to be really hot, too. I mean, that's like...
Right, really, for you to just fall down?
Instantly. You're in your clothes. Not naked. In your clothes. To instantly fall down.
Yeah.
That's going to be really hot.
It's going to be some hot shit.
Because I turn my shit all the way on the top sometimes. And it's not all the time.
I got to give my shower water a minute. It's solid 60 seconds before it's, good temperature.
For sure. And it's not that hot, man.
Yeah.
Okay? This isn't boiling water. If you got boiling water coming out of your tap, turn that shit down.
There might be a problem with your water heater.
There's something
might be about to explode.
Yeah, it might be something nuclear going on.
Yeah, so Felix Leiter is a recurring character. We always have 2 women minimum. We have some kind of woman associated with the villain that he sleeps with.
Is that...
So that was the redhead chick.
Well, I know. I'm saying, was that the case in the other Bond movies, though, or was that just starting now?
In a way, with From Russia with Love, his girl was, because she was sent by the enemy, but she didn't even know she was sent by the enemy, in a way, because she thought she was working for Russia. We won't dive back into that too far, but essentially, yes. Dr. No.
There was but
it seems to be becoming a trend.
It's becoming a trend. Yeah, I would say.
He sleeps with the girl who was helping Goldfinger with his card games in the last movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like it becomes more of a trend as we move forward. Him sleeping with a woman of the enemy. And then he gets the woman who essentially will help him in the end. And he obviously has to sleep with her.
Duh.
And then in the theme of the first 3, they decline rescue and decide to fuck on a life raft or a boat. Not in this movie. They do get rescued.
They do end on a fucking lifeboat, though.
They end on a lifeboat, and then the National Guard plane comes by and hooks them.
Coast Guard.
And Coast Guard. And then they are swinging in the air, hanging by a rope, being dragged by a plane. It's like, okay, how the fuck are we landing them?
I mean, no. There's
no safe way of doing that.
No, and I know James Bond has been eating for the last... How long has he been making these movies? All he's doing is having sex, drinking, and eating. So, I know he doesn't have the upper body strength or the core strength to hold on to a fucking human being while they hoist you up.
Right. So there's a plane stolen, and there's 2 nukes aboard. 2 atomic bombs.
Sounds fucking dangerous.
Very dangerous. And they land the plane underwater. And the filming of that definitely had to be just a toy plane floating down a fishbowl.
It was probably a Hot Wheel, if I gotta be honest.
It's definitely a Hot Wheel
Yeah.
Air Force plane, yeah. Absolutely.
It looked like... It looked good. I mean, it looked alright.
Yeah,
I could tell it was shit, but it
look, in
looked okay.
65, I'm sure no one knew.
I'm sure there's somebody out there who was like, that's not real.
Yeah, maybe. I like that the nukes both said, handle like eggs on the side.
No, I think that's ridiculous. I think eggs should
Can
say
you
handle
think
like
of-
nukes. On the side. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like, can you think of anything fragile? Hey, you know, like when you got a carton of eggs?
How about we handle it with care? I think that's a good word. That's a good phrase. Handle it with care. Nah, I kind of want to handle it like a baby on the side. I mean, I guess so.
I don't know.
I'm not going to fucking feed it. Handle like egg. I mean, I'm going to fucking scramble that motherfucker.
Yeah. We have some great explosions in this movie.
Yeah, the explosions went up. Like, unironically, they did. They were better quality.
Better quality, but still the same, like...
I mean, they're not even justifiable. What was the one that I was, like, kind of trying to justify it a little bit? Like, oh, okay, it could have exploded. Because it got shot with an explosive. That's why. It got shot with an explosive.
Right, the motorcycle is chasing it, and she has a rocket launcher. And we never figure out who the guy chasing is. You just figure out that the lady who's working with Spectre is the one that blew up the car chasing him. And so you go, oh, the bad lady saved James Bond? Why? and we're not... I want to read through this plot real quick. I just want to scan through it. No, I'm not going to read it out loud. I just want to kind of scan through it to see if it's in there.
I mean, I'm assuming he worked for Spectre. Right?
I mean, he had to. Well, she worked for Spectre, which is why... So, like, who's this other person that's going to kill Bond? Wait, I think I know. I haven't found it in here. But... No, because... No, she's talking about... There's one point where she says to Largo that if it wasn't for your haste... Or, you know...
If you
your
weren't
haste almost revealed to MI6 that the bombs were there if James would have been killed. But she was referring to the fact that he was investigating the boat and they started throwing grenades in the water. She was referring to them trying to kill him there.
Yeah. So who the fuck was that guy?
That one's kind of, I don't understand why that happened.
That one's up in the air.
But, moving forward.
What do you got next in the dossier?
Well, there's the quote there. Also, how that explosion happened. I was, motorcycle with rocket launchers on it, whatever. Got it. Awesome. Right? But then he sees the car explode behind him.
Oh, yeah.
And he just kind of looks in the rear view and is like, And
Unfazed.
Keeps driving.
I mean, I don't know if that's because he's behind a green screen or if he's in character and just because, I'm in an Aston Martin.
But
either way, he looks like a dick.
Doesn't James Bond, if an explosion happens behind him, stop and see what's going on back there?
Right.
I don't know, just a thought. And this quote there, because he has to have Bond lines. We'll call these Bondisms. Yes, we'll call them Bondisms, right? At least there has to be at least two a movie. There were less than Dr. No, and they've increased in volume by the movie.
Yeah, like he shot somebody with a harpoon, and he said, "I think they got the point."
I think they got the point. Yes. Yeah. So this Bondism was some people on the road these days. They really burn you up.
Yeah, like it's gonna make me hit you. If we're I didn't care. Here's the thing. This movie was bad. But this movie wasn't so bad, and I don't care that much to be angry about this 1960s movie being done poorly.
I just like James Bond.
Yeah.
In general, so while it wasn't like a fantastic movie, I still enjoyed it the first time. It's funny because I watch it the first time, I get my notes, and then that second watch really keys you in on like all the details. So then by the time you and I do it, I'm pretty dialed into it. But if I know the movie was like a little long and we start into it, there's a point where we get halfway through and I go, oh God, he's still got to fuck her. He's got to get captured. He's got to, like, it's all these things. And I'm like, fuck.
See, you shouldn't be going back and watching this movie. This is your second time watching or third?
I mean, technically third in my lifetime, but the second as an adult.
Second in your recent
second
history.
This month, yeah.
Yeah, like that's... If you're watching it for a second time and you're like, holy fuck, why am I watching this again? Like... But again, we're looking back at a 1960s movie, so like...
Right. And the first time, I was fine with. Like, first time with all of these, I was cool.
Yeah.
And then the second time rolled around. From Russia with Love was pretty rough because I watched it twice because there were 2 times I thought you and I were going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had watched it twice to get refreshed. And then by the time I watched it the third time when you finally did come over and watch it, I was like, oh my God. Because they're on the train.
The whole movie.
Just so they're on that train at least 45 minutes. It's
a lot of train. But we're getting off the fucking beaten path here.
Yeah.
It's kind of got the same symptom. Here, we'll segue into it. It's the same symptom that's going on with this movie. It's like, holy fuck, they're in water all the time. And, like, it's kind of hard.
You said 40 minutes left. Oh my God, it's in water so much. And I was like, if you're annoyed with them being in water right now, you're going to be severely pissed for the next half hour.
And, I mean, you weren't wrong. The fight scene underwater was awful. Like,
I put it on 1.5 times, so we could just
get through this awful fucking fight scene.
Yeah.
And then James Bond comes out of nowhere, and he's the dude who previously ran away from a fight is now beating up 4 fucking dudes at once. I don't believe it.
Right.
I don't know if it's Sean Connery doing a bad job or if it's the actual... I don't think it's the character of James Bond. I think Sean Connery's portrayal and how he's so easygoing and, like, fun with being a spy... There's no seriousness to it, so it's like, or there's no like real, like threat to him being hurt. So I don't care. Like it's cool to watch, but
right.
If I was to watch it like for only the CGI and all the pretty much like everything else besides the story and the acting, then it's like, what the fuck am I even watching this for? Because it's from 1965, and Michael Bay did not direct this, so like I don't really give a shit.
I wonder too if it's an instruction he's given of like make sure you're just like nice and chill, relax. Because I'm wondering if the vibe that's supposed to be given off is that, you know, this is just easy. This is a light day.
I think that's
Bond.
Supposed to be part of that.
You
kind
know,
of
saving
toxic,
the world.
I think that's
the toxic masculine.
Well, I thought
it wasn't toxic at the time. It wasn't considered toxic
but,
anyhow.
You know, I think that's kind of like how men are supposed to be unfazed. Men are supposed to be like, oh, well, this is just another day in the life of James.
Another day at the office.
Yeah, another day at the office, right, while you're sitting there.
Don Perignon 55 and Beluga Caviar.
Yeah, Beluga Caviar. I was just about to say that the chase scene, or not chase scene, but he gets in the, not Syndicate, Spectre. He gets in the Spectre girl's car. She's going 100 miles an hour through these fucking Bahamas, like country streets.
Yeah.
Country roads. And he's just... She says, am I making you nervous? And he's like, no, I just don't want to capsize twice in one day. It's like, okay, you're so manly. I'd be like, bitch, slow down!
I mean, her response is, at least you wouldn't have to swim to shore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, they're fucking and witty and clever.
Yes, oh, so clever, so clever. He says her name's Domino to her, not Spectre Girl, but to Domino.
Right.
And she goes, how'd you know my friends call me Domino? He goes, you have the ankle bracelet on you. You have a bracelet on your ankle. She goes, what sharp little eyes you have. And this is where we have another, I guess, sort of Bondism. He's just kind of, it's just... Really, it proves that he's at his peak creepy. Because he says, "Wait till you get to my teeth." Creepiest he's been in any of these Bond movies so far.
He's thrown himself on top of a woman. I mean, he's talking about biting people. This is,
and it's almost foreshadowing because then she gets a sea egg spine. Which, what the fuck is a sea egg spine?
Oh, I don't know what that is. A sea egg spine?
That's a Googleable offense.
That is a Googleable offense. Yeah. A sea egg spine. I want to know what the fuck this is all about, man.
Sea egg spine. It's looking like it's sea urchin.
Sea urchin?
Yeah, that's what comes up. So then it must be a weird British thing to say. A sea egg spine.
Did you just say sea urchin? Come on, British people.
Come on, British people. Although I do like that they say cunt a lot.
They say what a lot?
Cunt.
Cunt. Good. We say cunt quite often.
Fuck. Oh, well, wait. Is that... Or is that England?
Yeah, that's England.
Bloody cunt.
What are you saying?
Bloody cunt?
It's all the same thing. British, English, Welsh.
Alright, so, we mentioned Felix Leiter already. He was not in From Russia with Love, but he was in Dr. No, he was in Goldfinger, right, and he was here in Thunderball. He's been portrayed in 3 movies by 3 different people. 3 different actors. This movie, by a man named Rick Van Nutter. In Goldfinger, by a man named Sek Linder. And in this movie, in Dr. No, by a man named Jack Lord.
Does he come back in the next movie? Well, that's not even a question.
We're not even going to do it?
We don't even need to do that.
We're not even
Let's do this. I will say that I liked Felix in this movie. As much as useless as he is, I like that he was just in a ball cap. He wasn't even like a spy. There's no way that guy's in the CIA. You can't fucking convince me. That guy is pretty much just the guy who is at the bar where James Bond is. Who's like, and James is like, does anyone know how to drive a helicopter? And he's like, I do. And James said, I'm hungry. Follow me.
Follow me. Yeah.
I gotta take a piss real quick.
Okay. We're back. So, we're on a bit of a chase at one point in the movie. After he tells the girl he got no pleasure. What he did tonight was for king and country.
Oh, yeah.
Don't flatter yourself.
I don't remember that.
A bit of a chase.
I wish I had...
Gets shot in the heel. So they follow his blood trail. Because he's bleeding from the heel.
Are you serious right now? That I do not remember that at all. I swear.
That's why they kept finding him in the parade.
Oh, because of the blood. I didn't know they were... I didn't pick up on that then. I didn't pick up on the fact that like they were following him from there. I knew they were following him in the parade. Yeah. Which again, like, you're James Bond, you can fight him, but...
Yeah. No, I can't.
I mean, you can't. You can't because you're James Bond, but like, oh, I'm James Bond.
That would be too easy, yeah.
You're right. But, okay. I do remember the chase scene where they're there.
He wanders into a place called the Kiss Kiss Club.
Real quick, hold on.
Sure.
The parade.
Yeah.
The actual parade and the scenes of the fucking Bahamans. I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah.
The Bahamas people. The people that are from Bahamas.
Nassau?
Dachau.
It was an N. Nassau?
Nassau? Yeah, I think I was in Nassau.
Nassauans? I don't know.
Nassau.
The Nassauans?
Yeah, so I think they were in Nassau, I think is how they pronounced it.
Probably,
but it was just really funny. Like, the parade itself was, it seemed really cool, but, like, they kept the audio from the filming and then the audio from the parade were at different, like, distortions. I guess maybe not distortions, but again, I feel like last time I was trying to talk about the audio and I don't know enough about audio to really, like, hit tell exactly what the difference was, but it was disorienting when it would go from
it was like a different movie.
It was a different movie. I'll say it was pretty much like watching a National Geographic, like, oh, check this out. Like, this is...
Yeah.
it was like, oh, well, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
where did this come from?
Right. So he wanders from the parade with his shot heel into this place called the Kiss Kiss Club.
Mm-hmm. The only thing I remember...
I don't think it's...
The one thing I do remember, like, real quick, sorry, I
No,
didn't
yeah,
cut you off, but I do remember the girl dancing, of course, you know where my head is, but I saw the girl, you know, you see the girl dancing, and she's just dancing, she's shaking her hips and everything, and she's picking up her feet and putting one foot into looks like a
yeah, like a fire.
And then she would, like, take it out and then put her other foot, and, like, she would just keep doing that. But while she was dancing, she would be putting her feet in fire.
Yeah, it didn't make much sense to me.
I mean, like, we've seen this, though. This might be a fucking James Bond, like, staple. Is, like, show some, like, otherworldly shit that no one would fucking see besides James Bond.
Yeah.
And he acts just so normal. He's like, yes, I see women putting their feet in fire all the time.
Yeah, so I'm not fazed by that.
Like, I'd be like, oh, word! That's fucking cool. I'd, like, go through a dollar bill and be like, oh, nice, like, haha, like...
I guess when you're running away and you got shot in the Achilles, you're not worried about feet in the fire, I guess.
Yeah, you're a little cooler, man. You're
just
cooler,
like, we gotta figure out how to get out of here.
Yeah, this is more of a bleeding out situation.
So they wanted to Kiss Kiss Club. I don't think anything called the Kiss Kiss Club reappears in any movie. I mean, obviously we're about to go through them all and figure it out.
Okay, you're talking about just...
But I do remember it in the James Bond game, Everything or Nothing.
Mm.
And it's like an official club. Well, this is like, you know, this kind of like rundown, like the signs nailed together and shit.
Right.
But there's like a legit, like, I want to say it was a kind of mob-owned club in that game. I don't know, or at least a villain-owned club.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that kind of shit's always like... I mean, whether you acknowledge it or not, it's probably mob. You know, like
there's
everything's
a mob.
the mob.
There's
Everything's the mob. The mob made this movie. No,
right, yeah, exactly.
No. But, so it's just kind of cool, because that's what I think of, and obviously this came first.
Right.
So, anything Bond, it's cool to watch the newer Bond stuff, and it's always pulling from the old shit. It always has that link to the beginning, to the origin. It's always that tip of the cap kind of shit, and it's cool.
Man, because you're fucking conflicting me, man, because now I'm thinking about the ending of this movie. You got me thinking about the ending of this movie. And I like the ending of this movie, man. I think it's good.
Yeah?
I think it's pretty goddamn good. And I think that the tropes and the cliches that were... Like, we said this last time. Like, I don't know, man. The whole movie was hard to fucking watch. I'm not going to go to my full review here, but this is like a hot take, real quick. A real quick...
Just a mid-pod kind of...
Itty-bitty. This is an itty-bitty review.
Yeah.
The whole movie is a fucking drag. But the bits and pieces that are good are pretty damn good. Very good for 1965 standards.
The intro and the very end.
I don't know, like if I were to actually segment out this movie, pretty much the scenes where they're not underwater. And this movie's 2 hours long, right? What is it?
210.
210. I will say 30 minutes of this movie are really good.
That's fair.
30 minutes of the movie are really good.
I'd agree with that. Girl gets shot at the club. All the henchmen kind of surround. And then the girl finds him in the crowd at the club. And they're dancing. And then a guy shoots. And Bond puts her in the path of the bullet. Gets shot in the back. And there's a table with a couple sitting there. And he sets her down. He goes, "Can my friend sit for a while? Or mind if my friend sits this one out? She's just dead." Another Bondism.
The way he says it, though, he says, "You mind if my friend sits for a while? She's just dead." And he walks away.
And he's got a little Bond smirk.
Yeah.
Like I think Connery probably thought that was pretty funny.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
just dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He thought that was funny.
Another Bond-ism.
Another Bondism here.
When they fuck underwater. Says, "I hope we didn't frighten the fish."
Yeah.
Once again, we talked about it. Like a weird just scene. You think it's out of place. Nonetheless, just an odd scene.
I just think that when they were doing like the actual like structure of the film, when they were like doing like not a screenplay, but a storyboard. When they were doing like the storyboard, like, okay, this is what gonna happen, da 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 da. I'm sure that scene, they filmed it at an earlier point in the film, and then they were like, well, it doesn't really, like, we want them to remember that, like, Bond is fucking her and not fucking her. Because it kind of, honestly, it kind of confused me a little bit. I was a little confused, like, who the main Bond girl was. Until, like, obviously once it got into it a little more. Once that scene played, I was like, okay, it's settled.
But it is her. Like, because he never gets the chance to get in her. Because Largo keeps, being the cock blocker.
Right, yeah. But how hard is it to just be like, okay, bring her back to the hotel room versus like, oh, we're underwater?
Yeah, I know. But
it
seemed anytime he got her, like, where he kind of wanted her, it was always something interfered. His hotel room's compromised. Those people were waiting for him in the hotel room. At least, what's-her-face from Spectre was. I mean, I think it was oddly...
How bad do you want to fuck Domino?
Apparently pretty bad.
Apparently pretty bad if you're willing to go underwater to do it. Into a reef.
Yeah.
You don't even breathe the same air as those creatures down there.
Another Bondism, like, immediately after. They're sitting on the beach. He sucks a sea urchin out of her foot. She goes, hey, Vargas is behind you. And so he turns around, harpoons him to a tree. And he says, I think you got the point.
Too cheesy. That one's no good.
She says, I don't know if this is important. Everything's important. Tell me. There's these secret steps leading underwater.
Yeah, that's pretty important.
I would say
that's pretty important.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just, I would think that they probably made that submarine was transporting the bombs, yeah? Because I would think that should throw up some red flags if some dudes walk into a submarine store. I don't know how you buy a submarine.
You gotta probably have a guy.
I think that should raise some red flags if some guys walk in. Especially a guy with an eye patch walks in and says he wants to buy a submarine, and he goes, what kind of submarine you need? The kind of submarine for transporting bombs.
What kind of
submarine? Do you have any of those bomb transferring submarines?
Yeah, what kind of submarine do you have? Or what kind of submarine do you need? I need a nuclear submarine.
Nuclear bomb transferring submarine.
Yeah.
It's got 2 compartments for 2 nuclear bombs. Not just one.
Yeah, not just one.
That's inefficient.
2 nuclear bombs. This is
because if I can have one, not 2, but, then I can't put 1 in. So, like, I'm definitely going to get 2. Because, I'm not going to throw off the weight distribution. That would be a whole thing.
Yeah, there's actually 0 chance that you're going to stay underwater. You'll float to the top. It'll make you float to the top. Yeah, you have to have the weight to keep.
So anyway, what's the price on the bomb submarine?
Yeah, the bomb
submarine.
Bomb submarine. Bomb machine.
What
happened to the nukes at the end of this movie?
They before you hear this, I went back and watched the scene. The nukes weren't on the boat. MI6 got them after the epic underwater battle. We are so stupid. I'm recording this after the fact, after I just watched it again, because that was really bothering me. I was like, what did happen to nukes? There's no way that they overlooked that big a detail, and they didn't. We did. So just know that we pretty much go on for the rest of this podcast thinking that. Just know we're acknowledging we're wrong. Okay, bye. That's an interesting hole you just brought up.
What happened to those nukes?
Because if we could go through the last bit of the movie briefly. So there's this whole underwater fight scene, which is just quite unbearable. Watch it on 1.5 speed if you got the capability.
Watch it on... just skip the whole scene.
Skip it. Just a lot of harpoons and cutting oxygen masks.
It's hard to follow, like, what the fuck is going on. And then when you can see what's going on, it's James Bond doing really cool shit, which isn't that cool because you're underwater.
Yeah. It's all happening half the speed than anything. Yeah, okay. So that whole scene happens. And Bond grabs on to the boat. And the boat starts to float away. And he's kind of working himself up on deck, right? then the boat does this cool, I don't remember what they called it, cocoon something.
Oh, yeah. They called it the cocoon.
Yeah, there was a second word, but...
Well, no,
yeah, cocoon... I wonder if it's like right here in the... It's the ship is the Disco Volante.
Shed.
Yeah,
They said like shed their cocoon.
Yeah, something. So basically, there's smoke, and so basically the front end of the ship emerges, and so then it looks like the ship's still there because the rear end is still there in the smoke, and they start shooting at the fucking Coast Guard battleship coming at them.
Oh yeah, that's a destroyer, by the way. That's like a. That's not.
It's a Navy battleship, I think. Yeah.
It's a gigantic piece of machinery.
Literally shooting fucking cannonballs at them. And they're just sitting there shooting this thing. You're not.
I mean, they got a 50 cal. They got a 50 cal, but you're not taking out a goddamn battleship.
And then they just don't abandon, and then that thing gets trashed. So, your point: the submarine with the nukes. Mm-hmm. There's a compartment on the bottom of the Disco Volante where everything can come up inside. And that's how they stole the nukes in the first place. Mm-hmm. And then they took them to a remote location. So that's where that goes. And so it's either in the back half of that ship that stayed put and got blown up by cannonballs, or it's in the front half of the ship where the speed gets turned all the way up. It's out of control, which the green screen camera shit on that was so
shit.
bad.
That was
it was just going. It's just obviously sped up, very slow motion, and the wheels just turning, and they're heading towards rocks, and then it misses the rocks, and it's just literally if someone had like a wide shot of an ocean picture, and they just took a camera and they just wiped it side to side real quick to make it look like
the boat looked like it was going at least 400 miles an hour. Seriously, like it was going way too fast.
And so unless I missed something, which I'm very open to,
again, hotline or
consequences@yahoo.com. Please reach out, tell me that I'm stupid. Even if I'm not wrong, just tell me I'm stupid. Just talk to me.
It's very lonely being a podcaster.
Well, we're just trying to get some fan interaction going on.
You kind of just talk to yourself, hoping someone out there is listening. So,
yeah. So, unless the bombs had an alternate course, but I was pretty sure the bombs went up into the boat. And in the end of the movie, that boat, full speed, goes into a rock and crashes and explodes. So I don't think you can have an exterior explosion without the nukes also exploding.
Yeah, I don't.
So that's a great point that you pointed out there, because somehow in all my cunty plot hole poking that I always do, I missed that one. That's a fucking juicy one. What happened
to the nukes?
What happened to the whole point of the movie, the nukes?
Yeah.
What happened to those?
The collateral.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm sure you know the answer to this question without looking it up. Does the next movie? We get to see? I'm just gonna call him Dr. Evil because I don't know his name. I'm gonna say number 1. Is that his name? Probably. I don't know. The evil bad guy from Spectre.
I would imagine they're probably included in some way. Like I said, been a long time. I was like a middle school kid when I watched all these. So.
Gotcha. So we're not really like. We're going.
We don't know what we're getting. Yeah, we're just kind of in this like everybody else in the '60s, just wondering what's going on.
I heard one of them new James Bond movies was gonna be coming out here soon.
Boy, I hope it's good.
I hope it's real good. I might have to drive on down in my Skoda Baduda. I feel like people in the '60s probably talked a lot different.
Yeah,
like a '40s gangster. Why you oughta...
Like those gangsters in the Goldfinger movie?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on here?
Whoa, wait, whoa.
Whoa, hey.
Oh, it's a scream. What's that?
Why is that coming out here? Hey, we're locked in. Hey, the floor's moving.
Yeah, why's that floor moving?
Don't get off it. Just right.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute, what? Why is the floor moving, huh?
Oh!
Whoa!
I love how Paulie in Sopranos. Oh, every time he's oh! Something offensive. I love doing that. Just go like, oh!
Yeah, whoa! Anyway, alright, so we'll see Spectre again. That's cool.
I would imagine, yeah.
Alright, I mean, I just didn't, like, you know, there's...
I mean, because then they recur in the Daniel Craig ones. I don't remember hearing a lot about Spectre in, like, the rest of the other movies. You know, so I'm thinking it's like the Connery thing, and then I think the Daniel Craig stuff is, you know, is kind of the hat tipping and kind of recycling storylines, really, when you think about it.
Which I think is... I've not watched all the Daniel Craigs, and after watching these, like I said, the story in this movie, good.
Yeah.
The story's good.
Just all the underwater, bad.
The plot, or not the plot, the setting is absolute shit. I cannot... Setting's very important. Now that I'm, like, you know...
Yeah.
Sitting here actually absorbing this fucking story. If this was in, like, Scotland, let's just say that. If they're in Scotland for this movie, it probably would have been a lot cooler.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, they're in, like, some castle or something.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, some fucking...
Like in the beginning of the movie?
Oh, yeah.
He infiltrates a castle.
Right. Like, I don't know. Fuck, I mean... Yeah, the setting is the weakest part of this movie, in my opinion. I know that's not the point. I do this I feel like I do this every podcast. I'll say a point. I'll bring it back around to something that wasn't even the subject. And then I say, anyway, so that's my point, which wasn't my original point. And then we move on to the next subject. I think that's ADD in a nutshell.
I think that's podcasting in a nutshell.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Next topic.
Yeah.
I did write down that I think that dude was trying to walk in on... He heard the scream, the cries of pain from Domino.
Cries of pain.
Yeah. He's holding a cigar, and he tells her,
he's holding
this for heat, and then he holds ice cubes, and he goes, this for cold.
She goes, no! It doesn't mean anything. He goes the cigar. What does he have, like a Russian or a French accent or some shit? I don't even know what that accent is.
No, I don't know.
He's like, this is for the cold. This is for... Or no, yeah.
I guess he was just giving her cigar burns and then making them cold. I don't know. It's goofy.
Real quick, you remember when we were in Connections to Nature? And we had to do... I don't remember exactly how it went, the experiment, but I remember we had to, like, submerge our hands in, like, ice water for a second, and then expose our hand to, like, heat, and it was really hot. I forget how the exact experiment went, but I do remember I had to stick my hand in cold water and then do something, and I was like, oh wow, that's really, like, cold. And then I did the same thing but a different way, and it wasn't cold. I guess my point is...
That's only really funny because you just laid out the format.
I just laid out the format.
And then you just stuck to it. I guess my point is...
No, yeah, I guess my point is that I don't know enough about torture or science, I guess.
Sure.
To argue that him holding up a cigarette and a handful of ice is not a torture device.
Right. Yeah. All right, next topic.
Next topic.
Yeah, boat sequence filming was hilarious. Underwater scene was cool-ish, but it was a lot.
What you added the ish, and it was a lot. Underwater scene was cool, is what your ass put.
No.
Motherfucker. Let me see where.
The last one crossed off.
Is cool-ish. It was a lot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was a lot.
I read the lines verbatim.
It was a lot.
I don't adjust my notes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
I've had some notes that I was critical of many movies with Charles and Dakota. I don't back down. I say what I was thinking.
He's a real, he's a straight shot, this guy. This guy's a straight shot.
Straight shooter.
This guy's a straight shooter.
Straight shooter.
Shot. He really
Straight
will
shooter.
shoot you straight. Yeah, he's a straight
Shoot
shooter.
you straight.
Shoot you straight.
Shoot you straight in your fucking face.
Shoot you straight in your fucking face. Think you got veneers in or some shit. Shoot you straight in your face. Yeah, but I think we can wrap this up, man. This
Yeah.
You got some.
Just few. I'll power through.
Okay.
Just a couple more notes. I guess they just let that scientist dude die. He says, "I don't know how to swim." He says, "Never too late to learn."
I meant to.
Everybody jumps off the boat, and then the two of them are in the life raft. Scientist nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
What happened to that guy?
I just wanted to real quick. I wanted to talk to you about how he had no problem with the nuclear devices that they were transporting, but he did have a moral problem with his alleged torturing of a woman. That didn't make any sense to me. And he's sitting there like holding her. Is it because she's hot? Like, is that what it is?
Most likely.
I mean, sounds like a simp. That's simp behavior. He's not getting anything out of it. James Bond's gonna be the one getting pussy.
Yeah.
I would have went.
But he doesn't know that. He doesn't know the power of the Bond.
I mean, everyone knows the power of Bond.
I suppose.
Except for that scientist doesn't know the power of James. I think switching the Bond character or switching the actor is gonna be really fucking weird because I'm so used to doing this Sean Connery bullshit.
Yeah.
And like James Bond being this kind of like insatiable fucking rapist.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be really funny when he doesn't.
He doesn't say anything at all, and you're just over here like, "I'm hungry." It's like, okay, dude.
Right, exactly.
It's Daniel Craig, and you're like, "I'm hungry," and he's like, "Okay, he didn't."
Like, and Daniel Craig's like real serious, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. How do they land in the plane? They're just hoisted. They're just dragged behind this plane.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's kind of like the ending of like E.T. a little bit, you know?
Sure. Riding off into the.
Plan on coming back down at any point?
Yeah. How's that going? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a kid up there.
First time he doesn't refuse rescue to get laid. I would say best. I said at the time best one so far. Reason being, story was good. The underwater was a lot, as I said before. And so if we want to get to the ratings thing real quick.
I don't know, man.
Cap it off. I will remind you. I did go back in the podcast.
Oh, yes,
so
yes.
I do have our ratings for Dr. No. We didn't convert to 10 in Dr. No. We were still on the 5 thing. I said 1 out of 5. You said 3 out of 5.
Okay.
From Russia with Love, I said 5 out of 10. You said 6.5 out of 10.
I said it was a little better than the first one, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Goldfinger, I said 6 out of 10. You said 6.4 out of 10. And now we're on Thunderball.
Fuck, man. You make such good points that this is the best story. I mean, hands down, the best story. But I just that water shit, man.
Yeah.
And getting to the payoff was a drag. This was my least favorite one.
I would argue the payoff wasn't even great, though the story good, because it kind of sloppily wraps it up. Scientist is dead. What happened to the nukes? Whatever. Get on the plane.
Yeah. I'm gonna maybe what I mean, not maybe a story, but like there's actually like a bad guy. It's not just like, oh, well, hey James, we're gonna send you to fucking Portugal to go kill some guy. It doesn't really interest me, but like the fact that there's like the lore now. There's some lore. It's like, oh, there's Spectre. Like they've got bad guys in Spectre.
Yeah.
It's like G.I. Joe. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, we got the good Joes and the bad Joes.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is.
Next topic.
5.8 out of 10. I'm going 5.8 on this one.
Right.
Would I watch it again?
Right now.
Fuck no, I would never watch this movie again in my entire life.
I would not watch it again.
If this movie was on TV, I would sleep. If this movie was on TV and I could not sleep, I would cry.
It's a good way of putting it. Next topic. I'm giving a 6. It's a D. pretty straight up. Story was good. Water was a lot.
Water was a lot.
Hard to stay on. Just yeah. The second watch, rough. First watch, I was all right.
We should have started by saying we did spend like an hour playing Madden, but I don't think an hour playing Madden should like make me bored.
Also, we first went to go get tacos.
Oh yeah.
Ate too much. I mean, I ate too much.
I ate too much. Yeah.
I drank too much Coke. And, so I'm just in that, like, sugary...
Unfocused.
/ like, carved out, like, sleepy state.
Yeah.
And then we come here,
and it's like,
fuck around on the drums.
Yeah.
Then, like you said, Madden. Played a full Madden game.
10-minute quarters.
10-minute quarters. And then finally sat down and watched this movie. And it was a lot.
And by 2 hours in, I'm like, I can't do this.
It was an hour and a half. And
I thought I was going to fall asleep in here during this podcast. Yeah. I'm going 5.7. I don't like saying 5.8. See, I got to go odd number because I don't like it. I don't want it sitting on an even number, honestly. I'm going 5.7.
All right. Change it.
This is 5.7. If I wasn't sleepy, 5.8. 5.8, yeah. Sleepy, 5.7. Not sleepy, 5.8. Would I watch this again? No,
I would. I would not watch it again. I would not.
Do you actually have it on the shelf there? We could probably just throw it in the trash. At this point, it's
no, it's a collection thing.
It's just taking up space, honestly.
It's a collection thing for me.
Okay, I got you. Okay. So, what's next in the James Bond? I think we already said this, but just to
I do want to do a quick order. I do want to do a quick order check because I thought, for some reason in my head, there, Bond movies order. I thought that it went On Her Majesty's Secret Service, You Only Live Twice, Diamonds Are Forever, but I got him the way I had him sitting was in order, and so then I was confused. But
right.
Okay, right here, according to the internets, it is Thunderball, then You Only Live Twice, then On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and then Diamonds Are Forever, James Bond, or Sean Connery's last James Bond.
Okay, so we have one more Sean Connery, then it's.
We have two Sean Connerys.
Right, but I'm saying then it's.
Well, yeah, we have a brief switch.
A brief switch.
We get a little Connery break before the end.
I'm looking forward to that one, even if it's not. I'm excited to give it a 3.2. I'm so excited.
I will say, from what I remember, I seem to remember that it was kind of like a gossipy.
I got you.
He's just walking around a ski resort with all these women, and it's just kind of.
Do you think that the Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode with like the ski resort? Do you think that took any inspiration from?
I'd have to watch On Her Majesty. It's been a long time. I'd have to watch that again to see if Always Sunny pulled from it.
Patrick Swayze May.
Can do it.
I mean, fuck, we got Mob March out of the way, man. Fucking let's do Patrick Swayze all March or May.
Well, it's shaping up to be a Star Wars May, of course.
Oh yeah, May the 5th be with you. I forgot about that.
4th, yeah.
May the 6th.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and stop this one. We can talk about that stuff.
All right. Well, hey, let's
Content Crisis Hotline Yahoo.com.
The next, real quick, hold on.
At Content Crisis on Twitter.
The next James Bond film will be
You Only Live Twice.
You Only Live Twice. We will be here recording this podcast, ready to let the people know if they should go out and watch.
You Only Live Twice.
You Only Live Twice. That's right.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. See you later.